Welcome to something short and sweet on the Parsha. This week, a thought on the 9 days and Tisha B'Av. The Caesar decides that he's going to destroy Yerushalayim, and he sends ironclad troops marching towards Yerushalayim to take Yerushalayim and to take the Beis Hamikdash, headed by Nero, his greatest general. Arriving, or almost arriving at Yerushalayim, Nero has some second thoughts. He wants to divine, he wants to see if he's going to be successful. So he decides he's going to start shooting arrows in all directions. And each time, the arrow heads directly to Yerushalayim. He's convinced he's going to be successful. But he's not done yet. According to the Mefarshim, he wants to know that he's going to get away with it. So, as he's marching along, he sees some Jewish school children. And he says the famous words, Psokli Psukech. Tell me, what did you learn in your cheder this morning? What did you learn in school? And they read to him a pasuk, Nasati es nikmasi be'edom, a word from the prophets. And I will take my vengeance against Edom, Rome, biyad Ami Yisrael, through the agency of my people Israel. Oh, says Nero. God's going to get back at me. I'm not going to do it. And then the Gemara says a fascinating thing. He runs away. And not only does he run away, he actually goes into Yerushalayim. He becomes a ger. He becomes a convert. And the Gemara concludes that from Nero came the great Reb Meir, one of the great men, of the greatest men of the Talmud of all time. Why did he do that? You would think when you read the Gemara quickly that perhaps he was afraid that the revenge would be taken against him. Nasati es nikmasi, the verse that the child told him, would be exacted. That revenge would be exacted against him. But no, because that revenge hasn't happened yet. You know the famous verse that we say in davening, Va'olu Moshim b'Har Tzion lishpotes har Esav. The saviors you will come on Har Tzion, on Mount Zion, lishpotes har Esav, to judge the mountain of Esav. That hasn't happened yet. You know, the next verse we say at the end of the Oz Yoshir, the verse after that, Bayom Ahu yiyeh Hashem echad u'shmo echad. On that day, Hashem will be great and his name will be great. That's talking about Yemos HaMashiach. That's talking about the end of time. What motivated him to leave his position? He wasn't going to take the punishment. Nero realized something. Nero realized that there was a destiny. Nero realized that ultimately, that yes, the Beis Hamikdash was going to be destroyed, but there was a purpose in that destruction. And that ultimately, the reason for the destruction would be corrected, and there would be another Beis Hamikdash. And then the score would be settled. And then Bayom Ahu yiyeh Hashem echad u'shmo echad. And ultimately, the goodness of God would be brought about through Am Yisrael, through the people of Israel. And Nero said, it might be a very long from now, very long time from now, but I need to get on the right side of history. I need to be together with Klal Yisrael. And therefore, he made that very difficult decision to abdicate his job, his role, and he went and became a ger, rewarded with Reb Meir. Our sages tell us that the Mashiach is born on Tisha B'Av. How strange that is. And it would seem that it doesn't mean that physically the Mashiach is born on Tisha B'Av. When Mashiach comes, we look at his hospital record and say, were you born on Tisha B'Av? It seems pretty clear the idea is that the impetus, the understanding which will spawn Mashiach is born on Tisha B'Av. Come a few days from now, we sit on the floor and we mourn the past. And through that, we understand who we are. We understand what we need to correct. And we understand that we have survived all these years for a certain destiny. And we resolve to be part of that. And when we do, great things will happen. It was 1945, just a few months after the war. Feldafing, Germany, 20 miles away from Munich. General Eisenhower, the supreme commander of the Allied forces, was coming to this displaced persons camp. And after some wrangling, they decided that the great Klausenberger Rebbe, Rabbi Kusil Yehuda Halberstam, was going to come and speak in front of Eisenhower. And he got up, the Klausenberger, and he thanked General Eisenhower and the Allied forces for having saved the lives of the Jewish people who had been persecuted and hounded. And then the Rebbe turned to his people. Those people there, and those people who would be listening for all time. The Rebbe turned to you and me. And he said, my dear brothers and sisters, we must never forget that we are the Am Hashem. We must never forget that we have purpose, that we have tachlis, we have a goal in this world to proclaim the greatness of Hashem, to sanctify the name of Hashem, to be Makadesh Shem Shemayim all over the world, wherever we go. And if HaKadosh Baruch Hu saw fit to save our lives, and we survived, then we have to realize, we have to understand that we have a purpose to bring about the time by Yom Hahu, on that great day, Yeh Hashem Echad U'Shemo Echad. We have a mission to fulfill. As over the next few days we deepen our understanding of who we are and our role is, as we mourn over terrible, terrible tragedy, let us be filled with greater passion for our mission, greater understanding of who we are, and a greater appreciation for what will be. Thanks so much for listening.